Hey YouTube, hey there everyone. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I was recently looking at a video on YouTube concerning demonology, and it talked about incubus, succubus, and Lilith, which was Adam's first wife, or whatever the case may be. She gave into certain temptations, chose other life, or whatever the case may be, according to the myth. I have to acknowledge all of this as a form of them telling you the truth without really telling you the truth. You know, the first thing you guys have to understand, it is the truth what was spoken on his video. A lot of it was, but a lot of times we don't get the cure with it. And that's something you'll notice the link is linked below. And I think he's a very wise person. I think he did a great job. But sometimes we don't get the cure, and no one knows what the cure is. The cure is separation. The cure is God Himself. Um, we have to understand that there are societies that have been around for quite some long time. Like they have been around centuries, ages, um, decades. They're considered um, high up. Some of them are in very high positions and are in very high pillars. Some of them consider themselves gods themselves because of certain abilities that they may have, because of technical devices, things that they have access to, things that they have control over, and certain things that they have the ability to do. They feel that they are God because you have to remember back when we're like on a plantation. This is definitely a slave society. I can't no longer lie and tell you it's not a slave society. Yes, this is definitely a slave society in its wholeness and completeness. It has been developed, it has been created. The people of God have been in bondage the same as they were. Um, Unable to respond, unable to help, unable to assist, unable to actually do what is needed to be done to prosper the future generations and to actually advance the future generations to fight against this handmaiden tale of a society. The first thing you guys have to understand, certain humans, these are not gods, they're humans. They had access to certain things since biblical ages that deprived the people of their advancement, their growth, their ability to do more things. A lot of times they call it alien. They are aliens or of another planet from our planet or whatever the case may be, and they're not. These are human beings doing these attacks, but they are foreign to us because our culture and their culture are different. So their behavior is alien, which makes them take on the persona of being alien. Our culture teaches us certain strict structure, discipline, certain ways that we're supposed to conduct ourselves. These people don't want that type of structure. They consider themselves to be a free people. And see, in free mentality, such as the one in which certain people carry, it's not healthy. We know freedom. We want freedom, but at the same time, remember, you have to have some structure. You have to have some discipline. You have to have some rule about yourself. Stand for something or fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? And this is the society in which many people have been introduced to. But they got that way for a reason. A lot of them, when when they enter into these societies, they come from a religious background, a Christianity background, a conservative background. They are conservatives themselves. They're very disciplined, very structured people. And the first thing that most people don't realize is when you are a person of discipline, a person of principles, and I'm not talking about dark principles because that's what you're going to enter into if you let go the principles in which you was raised with that taught you the right morals. Some of us have been raised with the wrong principles because we was born on the negative side of the total pole, and some of us was born on the positive side of the total pole. So when you start hearing the blood types, that blood type tells a person about you. I am O positive. So O positive says that I am a positive person. I was born on this side of the spectrum. O negative says that you are a negative person and you're born on the other side of the spectrum. So these are two different cultures that they want to merge. And you already know they one takes away from the other, one does not profit the other. Whoever is the biggest wins. And that's usually how it works with integers. And that's what it's like on this platform or this plane. We're dealing with integers, which are people that are they're trying to merge them, and merger does not work. We were separated for a reason. We was put on different sides for a reason. There is a motive and a purpose for it. I am nothing like you, you are nothing like me. We have to be separated. If I am a zero and I am neutral in between, that means that I have to sit up there and I have to be put in my appropriate place. Everything has its appropriate place. And these people don't want to stay in their appropriate place. So now you're dealing with rape. You're dealing with all of this stuff because they want to merge something that should not be merged. It's like the tales of vampires and wolves. We have heard that there are hybrids. Truth be told, it is. But at the same time, they want to merge something into something that it should not be. Crossbreeding, genetic enhancement, type socialarchy. So they take women and they begin to rape women, talking about their succubus and their incubus and their Lilith and their all of this, and they're taking the offsprings of men and women, right? While they sleep or in a comatose state. Remind you, I tell you about this comatose state because this comatose state is really like the Matrix. And in the Matrix, each person has its own IP address and its own domain. And that domain goes up under attack when these people who they're trying to say is succubus and stuff like that want to take advantage of a person that's comatose. Because really, it's like sleeping in a pod. I know you guys heard about the sleep pods and everything, but connected to several different devices and stuff. And you're supposed to rest and, await your time for awakening. But it doesn't work like that. Other people come in, they want to rape you. They're supposed to be shepherds. You cannot have a wolf as a shepherd over a flock of people in such a vegetative state. And that's what's taking place. You didn't ask to be in this situation. I'm well aware of it. You were thrown in this situation. You are given certain gifts, certain guidance. You have studied so long for certain things, and you're still dealing with the Alzheimer's Society. And when I say Alzheimer's Society, the Alzheimer's Society means that you're dealing with your memory loss and things being removed from you that's actually embedded in you to elevate you. But they don't care. They want to treat you as if you are into horism, because a succubus chooses the life of hoism regardless of anything. You can go find a job, but you don't want to go find a job. You want to choose hoism, and that's not always the best thing for that person. So what they will do, they will take women and men, ordinary women and men, take them through a series of things, and these are other women and men doing this. Take them through a series of things to get what they want out of that person. So if they want you into hoism, you go through years and years of not having money. You go through years and years of not having what you need. You go through years and years of a state of just not having. And they don't care. They will continuously repeat that state a multitude of times, hoping to get a result of you going into hoism and selling your body for money. So they do this intentionally against you. Not only do they do that, you're restless for a reason, because they're constantly doing dark psychology, mind programming, um, nerve, nerve, what is it? They're activating the nerves and the nerve cells in your brain. So that's why even when you sleep, the brain shuts down, it cuts completely off. But yours, while you're asleep, is still active because they're trying to puppeteer. So in the nighttime, you may find yourself getting up, walking. You're doing certain things that you shouldn't do because they're in there. They're trying to puppeteer, and this is being presented as a simulated incident, but yet and still, it is a realistic incident. And the reason why we tell you you're in a comatose state, because it's not really a comatose state, but it's rather a state in which you cannot respond, which is somewhat vegetative. So to explain it and to break it down for you, certain things you can't get into. So the guy on the video said that this can be introduced in by rape. Young women, young men, you are beautiful, you are handsome. Be careful. I have seen some of the handsomest men, I mean gorgeous guys, have the lowest self-esteem because of these things, which they want to call succubus or incubus, playing on their intelligence to give them a low self-esteem so that they can prostitute them out with multiple women, or so that they can make them sleep with multiple women to build up confidence and stuff like that. A man is just as valuable as a woman, and a woman is just as valuable as a man. So therefore, you have to be careful with your body. Stop giving your body to these women and to these men. Now, they call them spiritual spouses. I didn't marry to you. So therefore, you are not a spouse to me spiritually. You can't date me spiritually. You can't be anything to me spiritually because we are not married. We are not married. It's certain ceremonies that have to take place. It's certain protocols that have to take place. And even if we ignore all the protocols, am I a willing participant? Because if spiritual spouse is possible, then spiritual divorce is too. But we're talking about stuff, and the reason why they label it, we're talking about the spiritual realm, because they could not actually say that we're talking about a realm in which you may not have access to protect yourself because it was considered a secret situation. But now, with all of the covert attacks and everything that's happening, people have to actually speak up on these situations more now than ever before because it's not safe. So you have women that like women, right? So you're going through homosexuality. You're wondering why you're going through sexual situations. Every time that you sleep with your boyfriend doesn't have these issues, but he's going through those issues. Every time you sleep with your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, or whatever the case may be, you're starting to feel something like a homosexual situation. It's because of people coming into your home under the illusion of being your partner and sleeping with you. Now, the person that's sleeping with you may be a man or a woman. So if you are a man, he is anally raping you, but when you wake up, you see yourself penetrating something, and you really ain't penetrating nothing, they penetrating you. I don't know how to say it any clearer than that. And it's the same way with the woman. A woman's waking up thinking that she is sexually active with her boyfriend, and she's not. Another woman has came in onto her, have had sexual activities with her, have done sexual things with her under the illusion that she was her partner. So you may be gay. Let's say you're very well gay. So you felt like you was going to be exempt from this. I'm not going to exempt you from it, because I must tell you the truth. There are men that still want you because you're gay, and these men are coming in. You think you're sleeping with your girlfriend? No, they're sleeping with you. You think you're sleeping with your boyfriend? Oh, you thought you had your boyfriend. No, sweetheart, you was gorgeous. They wanted you. So I have to speak up on these issues, because a lot of people aren't going to talk about them. A lot of people are going to play hush hush and quiet quiet, because we're in a secret place. And you feel like because we're in a secret place, these secret places was meant for us to actually commune and become closer to the will of God, and actually decide what we're going to do as far as the will of God. And it has been taken over, but they want to use the terminology demon. So I'm going to tell you more and more about this stuff. A demon doesn't care. Yes, there's rules in place. If I burn sage, you're supposed to leave. Guess what? They're not going to leave. They don't want to lose. They have to get punished for losing us. They have to get punished for certain things. So you burning sage, that person is still sitting there because they don't want to lose. Okay? So when you now start to actually battle with certain things that they're calling demons or in the mystical realm, you got to be ready to actually fight and actually battle and kill. Because what you're battling isn't something that's really saying that I'm going to take a loss. It's not. It's never going to want to take a loss. So you can abide by the rules. We have actually learned the demonology. You learn crucifixion. You learn exorcism. You learn all of this stuff. You learned about the stigmata. You learned all this different stuff. And you have researched. You have done your homework and everything. But there's something I have to tell you. You're dealing with men and women that don't want to take a loss. So they do anything. They will even carry on your image and abuse your children, people you love, your family, and then come back and say, hey, you did this. And that's part of the switch and the tear. Where you're forced to have to deal with a situation that you didn't do, but you have a memory that you did that and you didn't. I cannot tell you, the other day I was fighting with my daughter, and I realized that it wasn't really my daughter. And nobody knows how I felt about that, But I'm sitting here because I know if I harm her, that the child would be harmed that she carries. And I know that certain things would be harmed that she's carrying at this point. But I'm still knowing that this is a switch. This isn't true. So, young women, you're young, right? You part of the Democratic, Republican Party, you part of all these different parties, no party affiliation without party, whatever. I have actually served under all of these political parties. I can personally tell you they go up on the complete attack because they're children of God. They're here in the United States. In God we trust. They are children of God. They have sworn an oath to the United States, and they are under full and complete attack. We go through this. If you're in the military, you swore your oath to the military, and yes, you go up under attack. Guess what? If you ain't in it, because you thought you was going to get away and you was going to be spotty and big and stuff like that. You go through it too. When people woke up to the fact that we were fighting against a slave society, a lot of them turned away from God and chose demonology. When a person wakes up and realizes that the same people that are supposed to be God-fearing people are the people that's actually committing the crimes and the acts against the people of God, they separate themselves from it. But they did not know within that group, we're fighting. We believe in God. This is not a lie. Everything in that book is true. But when you have people, I remember like Letters to a Suffering Church. I always tell you guys about that book that I read. And this is like the Catholic Church with the Letters to a Suffering Church, where this man, he's saying, look, we don't do this. This ain't us. This is the betrayal. You get what I'm saying? This is what the ones that actually chose demonology or chose to be demons actually chose to serve, because they could not see how this was being allowed and how this took place. And no one's allowing it. Trust me, I'm not one that's going to allow myself to be prostituted out or anything. But this is what spilled over into the house of God. And so the people of God came out of the house of God. They say, no, we're not going to have this. But you had people that was going to God that wasn't even aware that this attacks was happening. So they're going to the church of God because they hadn't been in a while, and they ended up attacked. So it's so many different things that I have to actually add into this situation and stuff like that. And then you have those that chose to be guys themselves. They say, okay, we're going to be guys. They got to the point of elevation where they made it out of the situation, where they made it out of the slave society. You know, a lot of us are asleep. And I wouldn't call it necessarily sleep. I would just say we have been heavily drugged. We have been taken advantage of for so long to we didn't even know, you know, we're dealing with Alzheimer's, where we can't even remember. We're dealing with dementia, where we're constantly dealing with switches. Dementia is a form of them constantly switching you from one IP to another. That's my way of simplifying it for you. For if you somewhat tech savvy, it's like they're switching you from one IP address to another IP address to another IP address and stuff like that, creating multiple tears, creating multiple switches. So you never can actually get comfortable because you're going through that. So it's like an eye switch. So you're doing the lens switch, you're doing the hearing switch or whatever, and you're getting thrown off because you can't really hear what you need to hear. You can't really see what you need to see. You can't really do what you need to do. And this is how they try to keep a person enslaved and say, oh, this person is mentally unstable. That person is not mentally unstable. They're going through Alzheimer's. They're going through a multitude of attacks at one time against them by people of dark principles. And if not dark principles and they have the right principles, they're going through that attack for maybe something that they did. I'm not sure. You know, like I said, I can't really fully disclose everything that I'm not completely aware of. I can only give you my testimony. I can give you documentations. I can sit up there and I can assist you as much as I can as far as advice, but I cannot tell you how bad this thing gets. So they have a building that they keep all of these people in. This building is supposed to be a lodge or a secret place. It can be underneath, it can be above, it can be in between. There's no telling. And a lot of times it's kept in darkness. So when you hear the saying out of the darkness, that's what it is. But at the same time, I must awaken you to this, that with what has taken place and with what has been installed in you, you never really see the truth. So when you think that you have came out of a situation, you haven't. You may be emerging into a new situation or something new happening. So be prepared for that. Another thing, if you're experiencing rape and they're removing children from you and stuff like that, that means that you are doing a righteous work. You are right where you need to be. You're doing what you're supposed to do, and they're trying to contaminate you and dirty you up as best as they can. Give you STDs. These people be full of STDs, diseases. Um, they will sit up there and pump you full of all kinds of mess. I can't tell you, you're going to need a penicillin antibiotic drip with everything these people do. Diflucan and all that stuff. You're going to need everything. You're going to need everything. Birth control, everything. It's hard to wake people up to this because usually most people are in good places. You fell on good ground. When they say you fall on good ground says that you fall amongst good people. They're going to treat you right. They're going to treat you appropriately. It doesn't always work that way. These people are known to steal your children through the system, through the governmental system. They will steal your children. They have their people in charge or whatever, and that's what they do. They want to give your child their last name. My child is not your child, but you're giving my child your last name. And then when this child grows up, they take this child through a series of turmoil. This child stays in and out of prison. This child stays in and out of jail. They do all this stuff against this child to try to make themselves feel, I don't know how to explain it, because they still be using the social security number to work. They still be using the child's information to do other activities that they ain't supposed to be doing. So I don't know how else to explain it any clearer than that. You have to be aware of it. My son is now caught up in this turmoil. Both of my sons and my daughters have been caught up in these turmoils where you have to know what you're dealing with. I can tell you from honest experience, I've been raped since I was a child. A small child. I have been raped since then. Nobody's going to confess this. Nobody's going to tell you this. And when you think that you're not being raped, they have you in, how can I put it? They have you in a state where you cannot feel it or anything. I can't tell you, I woke up a few nights ago and I couldn't hardly move my legs or anything. I was paralyzed almost. I was almost paralyzed, and it became hard for me to move. Today I had to call off to work. I didn't feel well. I had been promising myself, because I had been going through this for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I sat up there and I said to myself, you know what? As soon as one situation happens, I'm going to take a little time and try to recover and regroup. And that's what I did. But you guys really have to be awoken to what really takes place. You have to be aware that these people don't care. They don't care. It has happened to you. It may have happened to your mother. Some of the people that's a part of these groups that are doing the attacks, their whole family have been attacked, including them, but they joined the group because they're going through amnesia. They're going through certain things. They're being puppeteered, manipulated, and stuff like that. You have to think about, these people study the thought process of humans daily through observation to find ways of how they would do harm to you. In fact, they're human themselves, but they are studying a process to know how to do what they do to you. So be smart. When you start seeing movies like Focus, I remember I seen the movie called Focus, where the guy said, look, I programmed him to pick that number. How did you do that? He's seen it all day and didn't even know he was looking at it. It was on the poster board. It was on there. It was on this. And when they start doing the manipulation, where with us having vision impairment, we don't necessarily see things, but we see it. So going through the vision impairment that our type of people go through, we don't necessarily see what other people see, but we see it. So you have to be careful, because our mind is picking it up, but we can't visually see it. So be careful. when we talk to you about certain stuff, be careful. I'm going a little bit over, but I don't care. I think this is very important. Don't let these people fool you into thinking that this is a spiritual attack, because they will sit up there, people that you date, people that you like, people that you consider family, friends, or whatever the case may be, or somebody that you can call on as a family or a friend. They will sit up there with their group of people and actually do this tacking on you, and this type of attack on you. And you may respect them, but they have no respect for you whatsoever. Young women and men, know this too. If a person is willing to prostitute you out, they are not your mate. They are not even worthy enough to date you. And you may be in a bad situation and you just feel like, hey, I just want somebody right now. Want yourself more. Want yourself more, because they can't really be there for you. They don't care for you. You are more important. I remember I used to date guys and, was dating them, and they would just act funny for no reason, to see if I would chase behind them and stuff, to see if they had me on the screen good enough. So I stopped chasing them. Look, forget you. It's all about me. And if you're not about me, then it's not about nothing. And when you have that type of attitude, you have to be careful, because they send other people. So that's why I chose a life not to date. And trust me, I go through hell for it. I have went through dark psychology where they're trying to program me to date guys and stuff like that. I go through hell. I go through hell because I won't date. And I won't have sex with a person, because them same things that they call in succubus, they feel it's okay to have sex with you when you think you're with your partner. And these women feel it's okay. You're not gay, but you're going through gay situations. You're going to the fact, okay, you're being programmed to watch porn, and you're a woman or a man, and you're being programmed to look at certain things that you are not for. But guess what? It happens. Prepare yourself. Guard yourself. Don't give in to the temptation. Don't give in to doing that. These people are predators. They will prey on babies. And when I say babies, I'm talking about fresh out the womb babies. They will rape and destroy the baby. They don't care. Cover yourself. Guard yourself, people. I will link the video at the bottom of this. Describing it and giving you more information. I hope that it helps you guys. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but I did the best that I could do. Hopefully this advice is somewhat a cure for you, because I am sick and tired of the cure to wellness. I am so sick and tired of it. So for me, I want you to get the cure. So I'm giving it to you. Stick with the word of God. Don't have sex, and you can get rid of that succubus spirit. Guard yourself. Don't steal, and stuff like that. There will come a time where you will have to kill. God covers that. Trust me, God will cover you on that. So don't even worry about it. When the time comes, do what you have to do or whatever. But there's not a time when you have to really have sex. You shouldn't have to have sex like that. If they say, okay, well, I'm going to hold you your whole life unless you sleep with this person or that person, let them hold you. Oh, well, I guess I'll just be here chilling with you. Oh, well. Oh, you ain't let me out. That's fine. I'll just sit here. We'll hang out together. Because these are all trigger points. When you're tired, you will give into. And I know some of you guys haven't went through like military training or something like that. But an interrogation is called the point of break, where the person gets so tired so they agree to anything. They haven't slept for days, so they agree to anything just so they can sleep and rest. They haven't had this, and they will let you sleep for like 15 minutes, get good into your sleep and wake you up. So get prepared for a real battle, because that's what I go through daily. So get prepared for a real battle, and be ready. Good luck, you guys. Bye.